Okay, we said the Shmaya. We're continuing today with our Purim preparation. The learning for the whole month of Adar here in Baruch Hashem, Kilat Shirat David. Month of Adar is sponsored by the Aaron family in honor of their 20th wedding anniversary and Mikey's 18th birthday. Shachar and Alex Avram celebrating 1 year of Mitzvah Yeshuva Aretz and their wedding anniversary. Joe and Jonah Brook in memory of Chayaleh Bas Yosef, Joe's mother on her 10th yahrzeit. Brent and Julie Eisen in memory of Zelda Reisel Bas Meir Chaim. Zichron Livracha, that's Brent's mother on her 15th yahrzeit. Anonymously for the refuah shlema of all Choli Yisrael. And 2 daily sponsorships. Today, Wednesday, March 1st, by Batia and David Rich in honor of their 2nd Aliyah anniversary. And today by Shachar and Alex Avram in memory of Ruvain ben Avram Verezel, Zichron Livracha. Okay. Is that it? Did I miss anything? No, that's it. Okay. Yofi, so open up on the page that you have in front of you. It's Kuf Ein Gimel. So on that page, that would be the third, I think that would be your third page. Kuf Ein Gimel. Now we started this ma'amar blew me, this has been blowing me away, this ma'amar of Rav Kluger. This is an incredible, incredible piece of Torah that is putting Purim into perspective in a very, very miyushav kind of way, a way that's very settling to the heart, in a way that we feel like we can do something with it. And if you had to give some kind of a subtitle to last week's shir, I'm thinking, I don't know, it would probably be like, the sod is the metzius that's right in front of you. I don't know. We'd have to anyone that's learning with us online, you have to go back to the previous shir to really understand like the mahalach of what we were saying over there. But in a nutshell, it's almost like Purim is the shoresh, it's the root of the removal of all concealment. So that would make you think that what Purim must be, like, you know, if I'm not holding by the deepest Kabbalistic secrets, any sikui, I have no chance. That's the removal of concealment. But hashlachas hadas, removing the dat, completely like taking your knowledge and chucking it, which is the height of Purim, brings you to this place of that what's right in front of me is everything that I need in order to say Ein Od Milvado. And that is the highest level in the world. And that is the goal, that's the point, that's where we're aiming towards. That is Mamish Purim. That's what we're really, really hoping to get to at a certain point, you know, during the Seudah. But now, we're going to go continue right now. This is Rav Kluger, his Sefer Sharvit HaZahav, Ma'amar Yud Zayin, bottom right column. Okay. Hapetach le'olam ha'pnimi, ha'emunah b'ma shepoel ve'oseh. What's the opening to living in inner world is believing in what you do, in what you're actually doing in this world. וכאן המקום לעורר פרט נוסף מעניין לעניין באותו עניין. יש שעוסקים בפנימיוס התורה שנים רבות. There are those that they're learning inside stuff, not just reference to, do you remember inside stuff? With the Mahad Rashad? They're learning inside, do you remember them? No, you're Canadian. You didn't get over the border.
They have basketball.
Mm-hmm. Not when he was a kid. Okay, יש העוסקים בפנימיות התורה, שנים רבות ועדיין אינם מרגישים שאכן לימוד זה משפיע עליהם ומתחבר למציאות חייהם. There are those, they're learning pnimius, they're learning Hasidus, they're learning inner orchards of the Torah for years, but they still haven't felt that this inner learning, they know they're learning deep stuff, but they still don't see that playing a role at all in their life. They're learning it for years, but they still don't see that it's actually mashpia on them in their life, how they live their life. ועודם ממתינים שלפתע פתאום יתחיל להאיר עליהם האור. And they're waiting for that ta-da moment, where just, like it'll all those years of running to Uman, or all those hours and hours of waking up way early and learning all these, they're waiting for like this moment of, now it's all just suddenly going to click. Just like one moment, it's just going to click, right? Pitom ya'ir alehem ha'or. Like what? כי אותו נער הפותח את הדלת בשפוך חמתך, like a little kid, that goes and opens the door at Leil Seder during Shvo Chamatcha al Hagoyim Asher Lo Yida'ucha, u'metzapeh sheyir'eh lefeta et Eliyahu hanavi. And he expects suddenly to see Eliyahu hanavi. V'akol mitam anaf, it's all from the reason above. She'adam lomed dvarim gdolim v'amukim, a person's learning such great and deep things, ach adayin lo nichnas b'sha'arei Torat Hasod. But the truth is, they may be learning inside stuff, but they haven't entered into the gate of the secret of all secrets. So when I say those words, you haven't entered the gate of the secret of all secrets, where do our minds go? Yeah. Well, okay, there must be a Kabbalistic Sefer I still didn't get my hands on, right? Or I didn't do that tikkun of whatever it is. He says, you know what the Sharei Torat Hasod is? You know what the gate to the secret of the Torah of secrets are? She'yamin ha'adam she'akol talui bo. That a person believes that everything is dependent on him. That's why Hanan Ben Ari is such a rock star these days. En hadavar talui ela bi, ela bi. It's only dependent on me. En hadavar talui ela bi.
It's about your efforts or about where you see yourself?
Where you see yourself. What you see in Kiddush, how you see yourself, you know. It's a good shaila. Efforts, of course, have to be part of everything, but it's more, with all the efforts, like with all the learning, that it's still, I don't feel, that's because it's dependent on how are you relating to the reality that's right in front of you right now.
You believe in yourself to be able to.
Nachon.
Rav Shlomo actually just recently said the greatest sin one can possibly have is not believing in oneself.
The Ishbitzer says that was really the sin of Adam HaRishon, is that he ate a wrong fruit, pseda, but that he didn't believe that you can do tshuva from that. That's the chet etzadat. That's the worst chet. That's the lowest chet. Amazing. So he continues, he reads like this. Again, Torah Hasod is שיאמין אדם שהכל תלוי בו וכל מה שמייחד ומכוון הכל נעשה על ידו בפועל ממש ואין זה רק בחינוס ודברים נשגבים ועמוקים. You learn the Hasidic Sfarim, especially in Reb Nachman, זה בחינה זה בחינה זה. This is the aspect of this correlates to this corresponds to this. He's saying your life is not about doing things that only correspond to things. Your life is אלא הכל נעשה בפועל ממש. במציאות חייו הפשוטים והגשמים. Your life, your simple life. Pashut, your life, the way it is, that is what's happening. That's the most real metzius you could ever live in this world. And look how he develops this concept. It has to do with what we said last week, but he develops it. Morning, Alex. Moshe כתב בליקוטי מהר"ן בעניין התפילה עם כוונות. So there's a Torah, Tinyana Kuf Chaf, the 120th teaching in the second part of Likutei Maharan. שעיקר הכוונס הוא דווקא באופן שאצלו זה הפשט הפשוט. This is amazing. You have a lot of Hasidic tales like this. If I asked you, what was your kavanah this morning when you said the words Ata Kadosh v'Shimcha Kadosh? So he's saying the highest kavanah you could have is if you actually thought for a second, Hashem, you're holy and your name is holy. That's the highest kavanah you could have. As Adiran sings. Or take another thing that you said this morning. What was your kavana when you said Potach et yadecha u'masbiach lechol chai ratzon? Like the deepest kavana is that when Hashem, you open your hands, however you just open the gates and you satiate everyone. No, the deepest kavana is the bechina psichas of what a yad is, and a bechina. No, brother. That's also gewalta and beautiful. The deepest kavana is potech et yadecha u'masbiach lechol chai ratzon. That's the deepest kavana. What's the kavana you have when you're at a chuppah and you're thinking about your children? The deepest kavana is that they should be happily married. You understand? Not like sometimes we go so deep, so we take things to such far-fetched places. No. Yeah, you're saying keep it. This Rabbi Nachman says, not just keep it simple, keep it the deepest, by sticking with the pshat.
There was a cantor, cantor זה חזן?
כן.
הוא אמר שהוא אומר פה בכנסת, הוא אומר את המילים רק אחרי שהוא חשב שהוא באמת מתכוון אליהם. Just he said it makes so high the prayer. And he doesn't open his mouth before he think, yeah, פותח את ידיך, פותח את ידיך. Just he say that.
זה כבר דרגה. That's already a high level. Okay, וזה לשונו. This is what Rabbi Nachman says. Reb Nassan says like this. אחד מאנשי שלומנו סיפר לי, שהיה מדבר עם רבינו ז"ל בעבודת השם כדרכו. One of our chaver in Breslov, they told me, Reb Nassan says, that he was talking with Rabbi Nachman regarding avodas Hashem in his own way. והבין רבינו ז"ל, Rabbi Nachman understood from this guy's words, שהוא עוסק קצת לכוון כוונות בתפילתו. He's into kavanas. You know what I mean by kavanas? It's not like...
There are different sidurim with,
Right.
with the kavanot for each individual word and whatever it may be. This one after is like 35 pages.
נכון. והקפיד עליו רבינו ז"ל מאוד, רב נחמן was not so happy about this, ואמר לו שלא יעסוק עוד בזה, drop that. ולא יתפלל עם כוונות, רק יכוון פירוש המילות כפשוטו. Just say the פירוש of the word simply. אף על פי שזה האיש למד כיס ואריזל על פי פקודתו, even though this person was actually immersed in studying the teachings of the Arizal, because Rabbi Nachman instructed him to do. Nonetheless, אף על פי כן לא רצה שיתפלל עם כוונות כלל. He didn't want him to daven with these extra כוונות. ואמר לו רבינו ז"ל שמי שאינו ראוי לזה, כשמתפלל עם כוונות הוא כמו כישוף. So, wow, this is very heavy. Rabbi Nachman said that someone that davens with these trying to kavanas, but he's not on the level. It's like how do you say kishuf? Witchcraft. ואצל הצדיקים הגדולים האמיתיים הגדולים המעלה, אצלם כל הכוונות של האריזל הם הפירוש המילוס. So you could say right now, so why do the tzaddikim go with all these deep kavanas and everything? That's because for them, that's like their mama lashon. For them, saying davening with the kavanas of the Arizal, exactly, it's like you and I just davening Baruch Atah Hashem. It's like, you know.
When you say atah, it means like there's kavanot of atah. כאילו יש כוונות, נכון?
אתה, אוקיי, אבל הוא אומר, עזוב, אתה אומר השם.
אבל הוא אומר שהמקובלים כן יודעים את הכוונה האמיתית,
וכשהם
הם באמת מכוונים כל מה שזה.
הם כן, אבל מי שלא בדרגה, והוא עושה את זה, רבי נחמן אומר, זה כמו, זה בחינה של כישוף. צריכים להיזהר מזה. שבפירוש המילות שלהם כלולים כל הכוונות. Again, you know, look, we were just in the presence of someone that I'm still shaking from. That's the truth. I still can't believe that Rav Ginsburg was here. And I can't believe that we got to hear him say Divrei Elokim Chaim for 2 hours like that. I'm just thinking about him over here. Like when he's doing his kavanas, I have no idea what he's davening. Although he asked the guy that drove him, he asked him, what's their kavanah? Like what do they daven? What nusach do they daven when they're in the shul? Because he had a lot of his pilots from us. He was very touched by it, moved by him. So my friend said to him, no, he daven nusach Sfard. They said, no, I mean what's the style of davening? So the guy that brought him here is a guy that comes here quite often, Dan, my friend Dan Marantz from Beit Shemesh. So he sent him afterwards the Shoshana Rabbah davening to give him a taste like nusach of the tefillah. But I'm saying going into to daven with him, I've davened with him a number of times, like just a minyan in his home in Mincha. You can't even imagine, but he's trying to say over here is that when he's doing those deep kavanah, whatever it is, for him, by them, it's the pashut pshat. By us, chuck it away. Baruch Atah Hashem, chonen adat. You give us a little bit of a kepi. You give us a brain to think properly, to do good with our mind, to be bali midos. That's what it's about. Now he's building something over here. ודבר זה הוא יסוד גדול, והקדם היסודיס לכל עסק הכוונס ופנימיוס התורה. This is very important for us when we're going into this orchard of פנימיוס התורה to understand this, שיש לידע שהכל תלוי בגודל האמונה שיש לאדם במה שמכוון ועוסק בפשטות. When I'm going into an avoda and I'm saying, I'm just really want to do the pashtus of this to the best of my ability, ועל ידי זה יהיה אצלו הכל פשוט ומציאוס, ולא בחינוס רחוקוס ממנו. And when you do this, You're saying everything right now by me is going to be pashtus and metzius, just with a heightened state of awareness. I want to make something clear. He's not saying over here, don't go to a meal and just say, you know those meals where the guy, the Baal Bayit says the bracha, you barely hear that it's 3 different words. Baruch atah Hashem, Elokeinu melech haolam motzilech min haaretz. It sounds like this, because that's what we do. Is that the right thing? It's the right thing to say bracha. Was it done right? Yeah. Now, what is he saying over here would be the right way? He's saying, take the challah in Shabbos and you say, Baruch atah Hashem, Elokeinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. And what are you thinking about? Those words. Blessed are you, Hashem, the King of the world, who brings out bread from the earth. Not right now. I'm visualizing the challahs of lechem apanim and I'm going into the pnimius of flour. That's not for us. That's not for, not only that, that just messes us up. By the time you finish with the bracha, your wife wants to check out. Your kids already are embarrassed of you. This is not what we're here for. This way, Rav Kluger is always bringing it down. He's like, brothers, I know you get excited, uman and everything, but bring it. Tiyeh normali. Chashuv meod. וככל שאדם...
אומרים את הברכות נורמליות, כאילו, נגיד אשתך מביאה לך אוכל, אתה אומר לה תודה באמת, כאילו, אם באמת אתה אוהב אותה ואתה מעריך, אז אתה אומר לה, וואלה, תודה שלכם כזה אוכל.
כן.
אז איך אתה אומר את הברוך, אתה השם, זה כמו טקס כזה.
נכון.
אתה אומר את זה באמת בצורה
עם מודעות.
אתה אומר תודה להשם, כאילו, הייתי פשוט אומר לו, תודה על הלחם, השם, תודה שבראת את העולם ונתת לי.
נכון, אבל ברוך השם, רבנן סידרו, חז"ל סידרו לנו. אנחנו מנסים לא להפוך את זה לטקס.
מה הולך, זה טקס, נו, מה זה טקס?
כשאני אומר, העניין הוא מודעות, awareness, לא דווקא הבנה של פנימיות שבפנימיות. העניין הוא מודעות, פשוט להיות מודע. וזו הכוונה הכי גדולה שיכולה להיות. להיות מודע שאתה מלך העולם, נתת לי את זה, תודה. פשוט. וככל שהאדם יאמין בכל מה שלומד ועוסק בפשטות, שהכל נאמר עליו כפשוטו. The more this is how I, this is what I'm doing. This is how I live my life. This is how I keep the rest of my Torah and mitzvahs. והכל נעשה על ידו. על ידי זה יוכל לחבר ולקשר את העובר עליו גם להארת ימי הפורים. Saying very, very special. You know what the greatest hachana for Purim is? He's saying that from now, today, what's today? Chet Adar. Happy birthday, Binny Cohen. Everyone give Binny a shout out today. Binny's birthday. He's not here. Give him a happy birthday. Chet Adar. We got a few days till the Yom HaKadosh V'Hanora. He's saying, if for the next few days you just realize the extent of the light that's going to happen to me in my life right now is based on me doing what I got to do in the best way possible, to the extent of my understanding. Now, I understand, it's amazing. You know, in the program, in the 12-step program, you know how they refer to God? Does anyone know? It could be confusing.
Higher power.
Huh?
Higher power.
Or the God of my understanding. That's what they're saying. God of my understanding. In today's shir, it stems. Sometimes it's very hard because our inyan is that we don't worship a God of our understanding because we can't understand God. But here the inyan is my avodat Hashem of my understanding. That's very deep. Okay? Don't do avodat Hashem that's not of your understanding. Because then he says you're gonna fool yourself. You're gonna mess yourself up.
God of my understanding could be very deep also.
Could be, but it could also be very limiting. Because you'll never understand God. I don't want to go into this passion. Again, וככל שאדם יאמין בכל מה שלומד ועוסק בפשטות, שהכל נאמר עליו כפשוטו והכל נעשה על ידו, על ידי זה יוכל לחבר ולקשר את העובר עליו גם להארת ימי פורים, גם כאשר איננו מיושב על מכונו ומקומו בשלמות. You know what? That kid is driving you crazy in shul with that grogger. And you know what? Your kids are kvetching because the third costume they put on by 10 a.m. doesn't match their friends' costumes either, right? And you want to sit there and you're saying, today's the day of Amtakas Adinim, what do you care about? No. All these things that can come and ki'ilu take you away from the zone, when you're just in your zone of pashtus, you can mechaber everything, you could see how this is also part of the Purim Megillah. You could see how all these things that you wouldn't necessarily, coin as deep, they're another detail in this Megillah. and less concealment happens. אחר שהארת ימי הפורים עם כל רמזיהם וסודותיהם, with the light of Purim, with all its secrets and its hints, יהיו אצלו מציאות פשוטה ומציאותית. That by me, and he's going to explain soon, by me, my Purim experience is the most realistic one and simple possible. ומעניין לעניין, look at this. He's giving such a musa right now. I love this. ומעניין לעניין באותו עניין. יש לעורר ולעמוד בקושי נוסף קיים בפרט אצל אלו העוסקים בפנימיוס התורה. Now let's go to those that they're like, they keep on saying, I'm just into pnimius. By me, it's got to be the inner meaning of everything. לא די להם בכך שדרשו חז"ל אודות המן מן התורה מניין. Right? So we have a Gemara. What does the Gemara say? Everything is rooted in the Torah. Haman min Torah minayin. So what's the answer? Hamin ha'etz, right? Same letter. Hamin ha'etz. Chazal told us that, right? He says, well, over here, that's not enough for them. No, sorry. They can't, it's not deep enough for me. I need Pnimius Torah. As if the Tanoim wasn't, their answer wasn't deep enough. I need a deeper secret, right? אלא עוד לומדים בספרים הקדושים אודות כך שמרדכי ואסתר is בגימטריה תתקל"ו. How much is that? 836, right? כמניין י"ג פעמים שם עין בייז, which corresponds to, the name Ayin Beis, to the 72 letter permutation of God's name.
936, no? Yeah.
Sorry, 936 is 13 times 72. Okay. How's that for you?
אבל מה שהוא מתכוון להגיד, זה שכאילו אנשים לא מסתפקים בדרשות הפשוטות מהגמרא, אלא מחפשים את הסודות.
נכון, נכון.
ומה זה הדרשה הזאת, המן מן התורה מניין? מה זה?
זה מהגמרא. שואלים איפה אנחנו רואים את המן בתורה, נכון? Now, by the way, this thing, tough, is not 800, 900. It's referring to the thousands. It's a way of calculating things differently. But he's saying the bottom line is, Ayin Beis is a deep name in Kabbalah. 13, Yud Gimel Midas Rachmim. By them, that's the next level. That's probably deeper than what Chazal meant when they said, Esther Amin HaTorah Minayin. וכן לומדים עוד ועוד סודות התורה בפנימיות דברי המגילה. And it's great gewalt. They're learning secrets and secrets of the Megillah. אבל ולעיתים דווקא מתוך כך מרחיק האדם את עצמו מכל מה שלומד. It's דווקא sometimes when I get too carried away with this, I distance myself from what I learn, because eventually שנעשה הכל בחינס ועניינים, aspects and correlations and correspondence. שהרי למד על כל המגילה סודות גדולים ועמוקים. You learn such deep secrets with the Megillah. הוא מרגיש שהמעברים שעוברים עליו הם דברים פשוטים ומציאותיים. And he feels that everything that he's going through are simple and realistic things. It can't be that this is connected to what I'm learning. וממילא אינו מצליח להאיר מאור המגילה על חייו בפשטוס ובתמימוס. How difficult it gets then to take what you learned and have it affect your life. Because the purpose is that the learning that we do shines through our day-to-day. Nachon? Unless you're a Kabbalist that has separated himself from the world. בבחינת מתוך חומר שהחמרת עליו, בתחילתו הקלת עליו בסופו. This concept of the things that you were so machmir of in the beginning, at the end you're so makil on because you couldn't figure out a way for this stuff to stem in your life. Look, Chaver, we see this all the time with Chaver, not just Bali Tshuva, with Chaver that got, a little bit, for them, they can't relate to any of the deep secrets in their life. It's something separate. They live in an alternate reality, an alternate universe. But Hashemayim Shemaim LaHashem. Ba'aretz Natam Livnei Adam. We're here in this world to take the chazals that we learn, to know it, get it deep inside, go weiter. The moment that you can't relate to people anymore, in my humble opinion, is the moment that the learning is used as kishuf. I think that's what he's saying over here. The moment that I feel like talking to my wife about Shabbos menu is a yerida for me, because I'm learning the secrets of all secrets. You're out.
It's going to the other side.
It's going to the other
Because
side.
you think you're... Because you're learning it just for your ego.
Now this explains something so deep. If you're learning it just for you, right, then the other side has an achiza, it's true. It's like, yeah, got you, Amala got you. Now this explains another Indian. There's a beautiful mimer of the Alter Rebbe called Chayav Inish Lebesuni Repuri Ad Lo Yada. I feel personally very connected to it because that was the mimer that I was learning when I met Bina. I met her around this time, my wife. And in that teaching, he asks a very interesting shaila. It's similar to a shaila that he asks in the mimer Anila Dodi V'Dodi Li, where he's saying, if Purim is so holy, then how could it be mutar b'melacha? But that's exactly the point. The holiness of Purim is the holiness in the mundane of all mundanes, of the things that don't have to be detached from reality. It's in the most simple things. Eating, reading a story, conversing with people, giving shalach manas, giving tzedakah. All these things is what makes Purim, the kedusha of Purim, come out so much. But if your hachana for Purim took you to a place that you can't be around people on Purim because it's going to distract you from the kavanas that you learned, you're out.
To the other side.
Yeah, you're out. Mazeh. You think you're so in, you've gone so deep that you're already, one of the doors you opened was actually the back door. Now you're out of the house. You're in someone else's garden. That's what Rav Kluger is saying over here. Do you understand? Is this stimming? Does anyone relate to this? Or no one attempted to become a Kabbalist, so you're all okay?
Again, it carries for the whole year, meaning this date brings it out for what should be a
B'diuk.
real life state the entire year.
Again, this is the yesod, this is the headquarters of this concept, is Purim. But it's true for every day of the year.
It's not enough, but Kabbalah, exactly.
Was it?
It's
No,
not enough,
no,
Kabbalah. It's
no,
anything
anything.
so it's we've lost sight of where, I guess, the correct side should be. Where
In the name of, and we lost sight in the name of
It's always
Kivyachol, right,
It's always in the name.
right. Now that's true every, nachon, b'diuk, that's true every day, but on Purim is the head, that's what you said last week. It's the yesod and the shoresh of this removal of concealment. That's why these things are happening dafka on Purim. Valken, bottom paragraph, the Kuf Ein Daled. Valken yesh la'adam li'itbonen b'maaseh ha'megillah bepashtus. So therefore a person has to look at the story of the Megillah with utmost simplicity. B'midrashei Chazal on Megillah, learn some midrashim on the Megillah. B'lifnei she'ikanes b'shari sodos haTorah, before you go into these deeper secrets of the Torah, upnimiyusa, first, yeh barur etzlo mitzius ha'astara v'ha'alam ha'shar b'Purim. First, just set yourself into the state of the concealment that was taking place on Purim, and Godel Hanes Shayasham, and the greatness of the miracle. Just be very clear. All the Yidden were going to be killed. There was going to be the final solution, and it was basically coming down on us heavy, and all of Am Yisrael thought we were going to get killed. Now, how do I bring that to today? Imagine, what? So it's not so hard to imagine this today, unfortunately. It's in our face all the time. Imagine, listen, your wives, our mothers, our daughters, whoever it is, that have the fear that a terrorist is going to infiltrate here and just spray everyone. So far-fetched, right? No, unfortunately. 100%. Legamre. But he's saying, imagine if that was really an awareness that every single Jew was feeling for a long time, and there were no allies, there was nothing, there was no one, there was no gvurayut. And then it didn't happen. He's saying, now, once that's seeped into you very deeply, now go and learn a medrash maybe. But first get into that awareness of the pashtut, of the metzius, of what was. Very important. Only after the pashtus of that metzius is seeped into our reality, can you then now go to another level, okay? To another place. But we like to go, I read a pasuk, Charvona zachru latov, Charvona, Cherev, Vav Nun Hey. Nun Vav Hey. Chakeshnia. Who was Charvona and why is he Zachur Latov? Rega. Le'at le'at. Bring it into your life. Bring it into your life. ואחר כך ייכנס עוד בשערי סודות התורה ופנימיותה, top left column. וכלשונו של מורנו רב נוסן לניקוטי הלחס. כמבואר בסיפור המגילה הקדושה, שצריכים לשים לב בפשיטות לתוקף הניסים הנפלאים האלה, שעשה השם יתברך עמנו אז. Pay attention that we thought we באמת it was going to be over, and a miracle happened and we weren't. It flipped over. Just that. No, I already learned that in 4th grade. I'm good. No. Hold on to your horses, Brody. Come back again to whatever it needs. You need in order to come back to the pashtus of the nes. Uchmochen, Ibn Nassan says, Hu misnag imanu bechazda bechol dor vador. And every generation, Hashem acts with us like this, where there's a mitzias, there's a reality in front of us, that this is the end, and exactly the opposite is going to be. Now, let's look at our door today. What seems to be like the end? The end of Jewish unity. The end of Jewish unity. Because you're attacked on the one side from Yishmaelim, and of course the attacks that's going on inside the Am are, for a very interesting reason, destroying us so much more. And it's inside the heart of Am Yisrael. So what's the V'na'afochu? Huh? Right, and you say that word today, it's like, that's almost as non-realistic as Bashar Assad coming to bring Bikurim, right? But yet, this is the Metzias of Hashem is that V'na'afochu, mamash. Ulehanal yizbar omek dvarav, שכאשר יתבונן האדם וישים לב בפשיטוס לתוקף הניסים הנפלאים האלה, שעשה השם יתברך עמנו אז, when I pay attention to the simplicity of the miraculous nature which took place back then, ממילא יוכל להבין שכמו כן הוא מסנג עמנו בחסד בכל דור ודור. And so what ends up coming from that observation of actually what happened on a pashtus level, that comes back into here right now. That comes in every single door. כפי שיבואר עוד בסמוך בארוחה, this will be explained in great length later on. ויש עוד להתבונן בנקודה נוספת. What time is it? We're still good?
9:37.
Okay, you still good, boys? A few more minutes? ויש עוד להתבונן בנקודה נוספת אשר גורמת לאדם להסתכל בעיקר על הנס שאירע בפורים. ואינו שם אל ליבו לעומק הגזירה והצרה שהיה שם בפשטוס. We don't really, even though we know, okay, we're about to be killed, we don't really get into the details of how scary and how dark and gloomy the situation was back then. And because I don't really do that, like all I know is what? Haman was gonna be bad, right? We're gonna get killed. But there's a lot more drama on the pshat. There's a lot more drama to this. When I'm not really in tune with the drama that was taking place, קשה עד מאוד לאדם להתחזק ולהתעורר ממעשה המגילה. I learn Megillat Esther and I read the Megillah to wake up and to be mischazek, but it's so hard for me when I think I know the story and all I know is that it was going to be bad and then it was good. And it's very hard. Then he says, ולחבר את כל מציאות חייו למעשה המגילה, to connect all the details of the reality of my life to the story of the Megillah. Come on, I know the pshat of the story. ולגילוי השם יתברך בתוך ההסתרה וההעלמה שנתגלה במגילה, into the revelation of Hashem within the concealment that's revealed in the Megillah. What he's saying over here is that when I really don't spend time with the pshat of the details of how hard and difficult it was and learn the basic chazals on what was going on in Am Yisrael, when I read the Megillah, it doesn't do what it's supposed to do to me. What is it supposed to do to me? I'm supposed to connect every aspect of my life in the story of the Megillah. I could see it in every aspect of the Megillah. And it's also supposed to awaken me and mechazek me and give me so much koach. But listen, we're a few days away from the Megillah. Did anyone start looking into the Megillah really again and learning again? Why? Because,
Life.
or, listen, I'm 42. I consciously read it already like 32 times, right? More or less. פחות או יותר, right? He's saying it here, oy va'avoy, oy va'avoy. No. שהנה כל אחד ואחד מאיתנו כבר מכיר את מעשה המגילה מילדותו. ומיד כשמתחילים לקרוא את המגילה כבר יודעים מה יהיה הסוף. I know what the end is. I know the end, right? ודין גרמה שיש בני אדם שנשארים באותה הסתכלות על מעשה המגילה, כפי שהיה להם בקטנותם בזמן לימודם אצל מלמד דרדקה. ומעודם לא התבוננו בעומק במעשה המגילה על פי דברי חז"ל, בגמרא ומדרשים. He's saying you have people, they may not admit it, but the visualization of the story of the Megillah is the same by them than it was when they first remember reading and learning the Megillah when they were here. Melamed Dardiki is like 6 years old, okay? And they never looked deeper into the story of the Megillah based on the Chazal and the Midrashim. ממילא אינם מרגישים שאכן היה שם ממש הסתרה והעלמה. So they don't really understand the fact that there was absolute concealment and hiddenness that were happening amongst the Jews back then. שהרי מיד כשמתחילים לקרוא על הגזירה, you have the next page? שהרי מיד כשמתחילים לקרוא על הגזירה, הם כבר אוחזים בהמשך, בנס שאירע שמה. You come to the story, you're learning the Megillas Esther, and then what happens? There was a gzeira, that all the Jews will be hung. But where are you in your mind? Well, I know it's not going to happen, so the effect doesn't really, the effect doesn't happen because you know there's another parak afterwards, right? You know there's a different outcome.
You know the end of the movie. So
Right.
it's-
Right.
But do you need a movie for that? I mean, I guess, is there any movie of Esther? I mean, when I see Prince of Egypt, so I get connected to Moshe and I feel the soul catharsis and everything.
It's
But
good,
is
it's
there
good what
any
you're saying.
movie of that could show the children also, and you can really get connected yourself. I mean, there's any?
So do you know, אז בעצם מה הוא אומר? אתה חי את הסרט הזה, אתה פשוט לא שם לב. It's so deep what he said right now. Is there any movie that illustrates the story of Purim? Yeah. שים על עצמך מצלמה כל היום, ובלילה תצפה במגילת אסתר. זה בעצם מה שהוא אומר. That's the deepest thing what he just said.
You can really do it.
I'm doing it right now. What do you think? I do this to do chazara afterwards at night. I'm preparing for... וגם כאשר לומד את דברי חז"ל, לעתים נעשה הכל במרוצה ועם חידושים. You hear what he says on this? But it's not yet like, he's saying that doesn't really do anything to your life. ולא מתבונן בעומק העלמה שהיה שם. Spending time realizing how shady, how dark, how scary the situation was in Shushan. ועל דרך משל, look, he's going to give a parable. בכך שאסתר נבחרה להיות המלכה של אחשוורוש, נראה לאדם שהוא בשורה טובה. Wow, she was chosen to be the queen. אחשוורוש is queen. That seems to be a good thing, right? ואכן יש הקוראים פסוק זה בניגון של שמחה וישוע. There's even those that they lane that pasuk in the Megillah with simcha, right? Which one? What pasuk is it that we sing with simcha that describes her becoming the queen? Vayas Cain, right? That one, I think. Right? ותיסחן בחסד מכל הבזולות וישם כסר מלכוס בראשו תחת ושתי. Wait. Do you realize what you just said? You know the end of the story, so you're like, wow, plot one, this is working out. But living it live back then, that all the Jewish kinderlich saw that Esther Hamalka is taken to Beis Achashverosh. Think of it today, okay? Chalila v'chas. Think of one of the holiest women we have today in Am Yisrael, okay? Whoever it is. And now think of a poison, vicious Yemach Shemo, okay? Nasrallah, right? She's taken to Beis Nasrallah in bunker, Beis Nasrallah in Lebanon. The guy's living in a bunker for 25 years. Bunker Nasrallah in Lebanon, right? What does that do to you? Oh, but I know it's gonna all work out. What they didn't know, welcome a little bit now to experiencing the story of Purim. Just that little detail. אכן באמת היה בכך נס, שהרי זה היה, of course it was a miracle, שהרי זה היה פתח לישועה שיהיה אחר כך. אך מצד שני יש גם להתבונן במצב של אסתר המלכה גופה, but what about her? אשר במשך שנים רבות הייתה צנועה ומוסתרת בבית מרדכי, באופן של כל כבודה בהסמלך פנימה. Esther was such a good Beis Yaakov girl, never had a conversation with a boy. Okay? She's hidden, put away with sneers for years in Uncle Mordechai's house. He's teaching her, the Avirah is so holy, Tzanua. And now, Ve'ata, this Beis Yaakov girl, נלקחה לבית אחשוורוש. הרי אין לשער ואין לתאר את גודל הצער והייסורים שהיה לה מזה. Can you imagine how much pain she was in while she was doing this? ובפרט שאין אסתר מגדת מולדתה ואת עמה. She didn't reveal that she was a Yid. ומצד שני בוודאי שמרה אסתר על קיום התורה ומצוות בית אחשוורוש. And of course, she kept all the Torah that she knew at that time in Beis Achashverosh. She's Esther HaMalka. כדברי חז"ל, ואת 7 הנערות הראויות לתת להם בית המלך, the pasuk says, אמר רבא, שהייתה מונה בהן ימי שבס. גוואלט. Wow. Well, see what a beautiful drasha? ואת 7 הנערות הראויות לתת להם בית המלך, חז"ל say, she was actually busy the whole time she was in Beis Achashverosh, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Shabbos. That was the Indian by her. To keep consciousness of Shabbos. Amar Rav she'echila ma'achal Yehudi. And that she was eating, she would be eating Jewish, kosher, or making a special Shabbos dish on Shabbos. V'ayta tzcha lestir keseder et ama v'uladata. She had to hide and conceal who she really was. V'chol metzius chaya bebeis Achashverosh ha be'ofen sha'alama v'astara. She lived a total concealed and doubled life while she was in Beis Achashverosh. What do you think about her? What's your thoughts about her experience of the story? Be with her in her experience of the story while you're learning Megillah. That's what he's saying. Pshat. Just the pshat for a second.
הרב גם יצא משם, אחרי שהיה את הנס וכל זה יצא, או שנשארה עם אחשוורוש כל החיים?
שאלה ענקית. You hear his question? Did she ever leave Achashverosh? What do we know about that? What's the story? What's the pshat of the story? No.
All the ladies that visited stayed for their lives. They were with Chagai forever.
So just imagine that.
נשארה לנצח שם?
תראה איזה עמוק מה שאתה אומר. אנחנו חושבים, סיפור עם פורים נגמר. ליהודים הייתה רב, יופי, ומי המשיכה בשם עם ישראל לחטוף? Esther. Now it's true, Koresh, there's a Besora, they go back, they build Beit HaMikdash, but what about her private life? Her private life, once she was, it's like it's married for life, to the cause. לבריאות.
זה יותר גרוע מחנה, חנה לפחות בטא, היא כל החיים.
נכון, נכון. ובדרך כלל, אין הקורא במגילה שם אל ליבו לעומק ההסתרה. Shal Esther Malka. Usually, listen, let's be honest, those of us that are here. When was the last time when we were learning Megillas Esther, laning Megillas Esther? That's what stood out to us. The pain and concealment that she went through while, while she was doing what she was doing. It seems to you, whatever, it happened, she went and she left. How long does the Kriyas Megillah last? Max half an hour, or if you're Yair Kaufman, max 8 minutes. ומאז שקוראים על כך שאסתר נלקחה לבית אחשוורוש, לא עוברים דקות ארוכות. And from the time that, everything, it's just a few minutes here and there, כבר קוראים שהיא מספרת לאחשוורוש שהיא משפחתו של מרדכי וכל הנס. Before you know it, you see her on the winning side, everything's good, everything flips over. וגם אם לומד בחז"ל שהיה כמה שנים, and even if you learn a chazal that says, she was there for a few years. So now in your mind, she was there for a few years. And he's saying over here, wait, stop for a second. Put those words into your heart. Esther HaMalka lived like this for a few years. We don't even know how much. Years. בדרך כלל אין האדם נותן אל ליבו להתבונן בזה. ובאמת, הרי עברו על אסתר המלכה ג' שנים של העלמה וההסתרה. Esther went for 3 years where it was totally a secret who she was. יום אסתר המלכה קמה בית אחשוורוש ומרגישה צער וייסורים נוראים. Every day she wakes up in Achashverosh's house and feels such pain and affliction. איננה מבינה מה מעשיה כאן. What am I doing here? כל התענוגות שיש לה בית המלך אינם משמחים אותה. All the servants she's given, all the lavish living, it doesn't do a thing for her. אדרבה ואדרבה. כל ההנאות והתאוות הם רק צער ומכאובים אצלה. All the enjoyment she has just gives her more and more pain. And then he continues, he says, אפשר להעריך בכל פרטי המגילה. You could do this with all the, we're going to stop here, he's saying, you can do this with all the different pratim of the Megillah, all of them. But this Megillah, Esther, was given to us to see the reality of our life through, but you have to spend time with every pasuk and think about it deeply, how much concealment was actually taking place. Now to wrap this up, the more that I really live with the Megillah, before I learn Megillah, the more I learn the pshat of the story, the more that I visualize through the pshat the actual danger and sadness, stress and anxiety, and sakanat nefashot that was actually taking place, the final solution, I don't need to go to Yad Vashem to get woken up. I can do it from the pshat of the psukim of the Megillah. Mamash. And when the pshat becomes by me alive, then there's more and more of hastara that is removed. Then the more and more of concealment is actually moved from my life. Why? Because the deeper I taste the pain of what was, and the more that I taste the simcha of what was, so too in our lives as well. When I allow myself to taste the pain of living in a world where there's concealment, then and believing in the story of Esther, v'na'afochu, it'll be like that in our lives as well. B'yamim hahem b'zman hazeh. Yeshua koach everyone.